Welcome to I Change the Narratives weekday pop up. This segment is powered by So Organic, So Suave, also known as Sauce. You can find Sauce's award winning grooming essentials online at www.sossd.co and follow Sauce on Instagram at sossd.co. This week's spotlight is thought leader, the Jack Norman, and today he's talking about rest for success. Jack, take it away.
Yeah, again, one of the things I would tell every male that I could come in contact with is really every person, but since we're talking about Black males tonight, is that specifically, you don't have to always be Superman. You need to leave room to be Clark Kent. And where I'm going with that is that I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm an advocate for having a safe place, a place where you can go and be vulnerable. I, for one, I'll be transparent. I've had a therapist off and on since 2011. And one of the main reasons that I needed a therapist was because I'm the strongest person in all of my relationships. So I'm the person that everybody calls when they have a bad day. I'm the person that when somebody needs a hug or an encouraging word, and I'm constantly giving and pouring out, and I need to be refilled. And part of that was having a therapist, somebody that I knew would keep things confidential, somebody that would, on the one hand, encourage me, but on the other hand, challenge me to be the best version of myself. So I definitely, wholeheartedly, without reservation, tell everybody you need a therapist to deal with past grief, to deal with past trauma, to deal with guilt, shame. You need to have somebody that you can talk through with that. I wanted to share this as well. Pre-pandemic, a study showed that African Americans are 20% more likely to experience serious psychological disorders, like major depressive disorder. So that's before the pandemic. And so you can imagine what those numbers are now. We're 20% more likely to experience psychological disorders, but we're much less likely to seek treatment than our white counterparts. And so what do we do with that? Well, I would say just take advantage of whatever you have access to. If you need a life coach, if you have to connect with a pastor or a group within the community, Black Men United, or whatever it is, find a healthy outlet that will allow you to express yourself. People that have been through struggles like yourself, you need to know that, the person next to you also grew up without a father at home. The person next to you also struggled with some abuse growing up, or maybe struggling with abuse presently. You need to know that you're not only one going through what you're going through. And if you can't get to a therapist, get to a group of people that will build you up and help you, again, be the best version of yourself. And I think there's a larger context here as we look at mental health within the Black community. One is it's either ignored. And when it is addressed, it's usually ridiculed. And so we've got to move away from that stigma. I think for Black men, generally, what we do when we try to communicate, we blow up, which is bad. That's toxic. Or we suppress our feelings. So we're operating in one or two extremes. Either we blow up or we suppress things and just internalize things. And I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. So we've got to learn in terms of rest, we've got to learn how to communicate effectively in the workplace, in our home, with our spouses, with our children. And in doing that, we lower our stress and anxiety. And I think, again, we can have better outcomes. Along with that, I would also say that, your theme is to reconstruct, to rewrite, and represent. And what I would add to that is just to simply to read. And I don't mean read maybe in a traditional sense. Now, I mean, one of the things that I fell in love with and that I would campaign for is Audible, books on tape. If you're working out, if you have a commute, hey, pop in a book and listen to whoever your favorite person is, Barack Obama, Jay-Z, LeBron James. Listen to what these brothers have went through, and I think you can have a fuller appreciation for their struggle, for their pain, for their childhoods. And I think all of that, when we internalize that, it makes us be able to say, I'm proud to be a Black man, and you can kind of say that with your chest. So find your favorite podcast. If that's not your thing, learn how the stock market works. Learn how to start your own LLC. Learn how to invest in real estate. Learn how to start your own nonprofit. The list goes on and on and on. I think when we direct our attention to things that really matter, and I'm 45, so I'm thinking about legacy stuff now. I'm thinking about what's going to be here when I'm gone. Those things are important. So not only do I want to live my best life today, right now, but in the seasons to come, I want to live my best life, and I want to leave a legacy for my children and my community. And I think that's where our mindset has to be. That's where our focus has to be. And I think, again, when we're focused on things that are right, that are pure, that are true, it drives down that level of anxiety. I know we want to grind, brothers. I know we want to grind. We're trying to secure the bag. Hey, do all that. But again, in the midst of all that, don't forget to look out for you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to be refilled. You need to be replenished. You need to take vacations. You need to have, Ms. Williams, you need to have just a random Wednesday where you just take off. Yeah. And you don't have to have anything planned. I call it mental health days. Take advantage of that. They give us those personal days, those vacation days for a reason. You don't necessarily have to go anywhere. You don't have to spend any money. I'm just going to sit at home on my back porch all day. I'm not going to take any calls. I'm not going to answer any emails. I am off today. And every time I do that, I come back recharged. I come back refocused. I come back with a better attitude. And again, I think that's better for everybody that's in my circle. The last thing I want to say is this, and we talk about, again, about decompressing, about dealing with stress, dealing with anxiety. I think this is the thing that's often overlooked. We've got to learn how to celebrate every victory. Celebrate every victory, large and small. One of the things that I've struggled with, and I think everybody does to a certain extent, if you're ambitious, if you're driven, you look at where you are in life and you automatically think, I should be further along than I am. You know, and that's whatever your context is, whether it's professional, whether it's your marital status, whether it's your bank account. But what I've come to understand and learn is that we ought not always look at how far we have to go, but instead we ought to look at how far we've come. And so I'm first generation college, like many of you. So I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am my parents' wildest dreams. And so we have to fully appreciate where we have started from. I spoke earlier this week from a historical standpoint. We just got the right to vote in 1965. I was born in 1978. That wasn't long. I'm a 70s baby. We just got full rights, quote unquote. We just got full rights a few years before I was born. That was the previous generation. So even as Black people, we've got a long way to go, I feel, but we've come such a long way. And so when you make that personal, don't focus so much on the grind of the journey that you miss out on the beauty. The grind of getting to the destination, that you miss out on the beauty of the journey. Yeah. And so I will end with saying this. A lot of times as I travel, I'll put in my location, I'll put it into the GPS, and they'll say, hey, you'll be here in an hour and a half, you'll be here in an hour. But on my journey, I'll run into delays, I'll run into construction, I'll run into traffic, but my time of arrival has not changed. Now, why is that? Because when I put in my location, the GPS is smart enough to already know that while I started my journey, that there were going to be some delays, that there were going to be some setbacks. And I believe, as a person of faith, I believe that, again, that when we set out on our journey, God already knows that there's always a path for us, but it's not going to be a straight path. There will be delays. There will be roadblocks. There will be speed bumps. There will be flat tires. There will be some people on our journey that will ride with us until a certain point, and then we got to let them get out, and then we got to put somebody else in the passenger seat. Somebody else is riding with us. But I'm saying don't miss out. Don't be so stressed and anxious about the destination that you miss out on the growth that happens on the journey. So get out of your comfort zone. Try something new, do something different. Believe that, again, that what you're doing now is greater than you. And when you invest in something greater than you, you'll always find yourself, I believe, in not only a happy place, but in a fulfilled place. And so thank you for your time tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom and giving us practical advice. Share with the listeners how they can connect with you.
Yes, well, certainly Facebook is my main platform. Jack Norman. You can hit me up there, inbox me. I would certainly love to dialogue with you. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at the Jack Norman, all together on Twitter and Instagram as well. And we've had some good dialogue with people on a broad range of subjects. And I think that's one of the beauties of social media, to get to interact with so many different type of people with different mindsets, and you don't always want to talk to somebody that just thinks like you. You want to hear different mindsets, even if you vehemently disagree with them. I think it's usually a good and healthy way to dialogue with people, and I found it to be a blessing for me.
Absolutely. This has been I Change the Narratives weekday pop-up. See you soon.